It doesn't get any more picturesque than the majestic landscapes of Cortina d'Ampezzo, home to the Dolomites and their rapid ski slopes, and, for the second time in history, the World Archery Field Championships. The competition saw archers brave the conditions across 3 6-kilometre-long field archery courses in what is one of the most demanding events on the international archery calendar. With steep inclines and tricky terrain, the qualification stages proved to be a challenge both of stamina and accuracy. Each target provided a unique challenge, as archers shot across both unknown and known distances to determine who would make the finals of the championships. And that brings us to the Trampolino Olimpico, the ski jump venue of the 1956 Winter Olympic Games, transformed into the ultimate test of a field archer's skill, and the finals course for the 2018 World Archery Field Championships. But one of this year's finalists wasn't a field archer at all. This is the compound men's final in Cortina, and this is Mike Schlusser, the world's #1 ranked target archer, making his debut in the field archery discipline and shooting for gold. The only person standing in his way, Austria's Nico Wiener, the junior champion of 2016. So here they go, target 1. 40 meters. It's a particularly tricky target to start with, a cross slope. They're going across the fall of the lower slopes of the mountain. Very challenging for an inexperienced field archer. Makes the arrows seem to fall slightly differently left to right. As you can see here, that's a good angle that we're looking at across the fall of the hill. And it's a big challenge for Mike Schlusser, who is competing at his first World Field Archery Championships, but challenge extended and challenge accepted by Mr. Perfect, 17 out of 18 on target 1. 2016 Junior World Champion finishes with a perfect 6, but trails by 1 after the first target. And it's a great start from someone we're used to seeing on the target range. Both athletes adjusting their sight as they prepare for target 2. Schlusser leading by a single point in the gold medal match. So to target 2, a tricky uphill shot. A good start from both athletes, perfect 6s. You see the archers leaning back as they're shooting up the incline. A challenge in itself. Well, Schlusser's just dropped 2 points here. Wiener's third arrow will go to a measure as we see the judges coming out to just go and have a look at that. But at the moment, Schlusser is taking on this challenge on the slopes in Cortina, and he's winning the battle, confirmed, leading by 4 after 2 targets. And the 3 vertical targets of target 3, Schlusser already ready to go. Schlusser's first arrow will go to a measure. Venus shooting very well now, but Schlusser's got that lead. Well, potentially on for just dropping 3 points here over the first 3 targets. Schlusser is shooting exceptionally well, but another 6 from the Austrian. Trailing by 4, subject to the measure, of course, on that first arrow. Well, the upgrade there after target 3 puts Schlusser 5 clear points ahead, but this is a really tough target. 60 meters on around about a 30-degree angle. Both archers there showing you how difficult this is, only scoring 3s, their lowest scores throughout this gold medal match so far. Well, both adjusting well, but you've got to be fair to the 2016 Junior World Champion. With that perfect 6, he's adjusted much better, but a 4 will be enough here for Schlusser to take gold. And it is a 4, a fabulous performance by the Dutch archer Mike Schlusser. There's nothing Wiener can do here. He will shoot his final arrow, of course. And a 5 to finish, a brilliant finish from Wiener, but Mike Schlusser, what an amazing performance. The challenge was extended here on this tough field archery course in Cortina, and he has accepted it and beaten it. The compound men's gold medalist here in Cortina in 2018. So Mike Schlusser, world outdoor champion in 2013, indoor champion in early 2018, and now field champion as well. But if field archery is so tricky, how did Mike, at his first competition, take gold? He took advice from experienced shooters like the 2004 world champion from Great Britain, Chris White.
The field archer's greatest challenge is beating the course. You've got 24 different targets, different terrains, different angles. If you can read those well and apply your own logic to it and apply that to your shooting, and if you can crack that, then you're 90% of the way there. Okay, so I'm walking up to the peg. And can we see? Well, we can see straight away it's a relatively short target, made easier by the boss. You can see that you've got a 60 centimetre target, a slight cross slope. You can tell by the gradient on the hillside, and then obviously using the trees in the background, they generally grow fairly vertical, so you can tell you've got a slope down to the left. If you approach the peg, have a look at the footing, you can see it's not too bad. It's relatively level, but it's sloping down with the same gradient as the hill, so your feet are pointing down. So looking across the ground, I'd say the target's approximately 35 metres. It's just a rough estimate using sort of 1-2 metre increments from what I know. What I'll do then is draw my bow up and see if I can get a more accurate reading across my scope. Okay, looking at that, I'd say it's probably a little short of that, sort of 34, 33 metres, something like that. Because it's got a sort of 15-degree slope, you need to make an adjustment for that. So I'm probably going to knock sort of 1.2 or 1.5 metres off, something like that. And that should give me the right distance to hopefully hit the middle of the target. And just lean it into the hill a little bit. and make the shot. You can see it's drifted off to the left-hand side. Got the height right. I'll just make a conscious effort to lean the top limb into the hill. Okay, felt like a good shot. Probably had half a bobble on it. Yeah, and that's pretty much in the middle. So you can see the effect of shooting. It wasn't quite level, but a level bubble as opposed to a half level. You've got the same distance, but you've got probably sort of 3 or 4 inches apart on the target. And if you're not conscious of that on every single shot throughout the day, you can end up dropping a lot of points very easily. That feeling when you've got a target out at 54 metres, if you guess it, you've got bad terrain, you've got a wind blowing, you think it's 54 metres, you set your sight, you make a good confident shot, and you see that plumb on the cross. It's a great feeling. Perfect field archery has a good combination of experience, talent and knowledge, and when you combine all 3 of those, you're most likely to see the winners at the end of the week.
It's not just the terrain that makes the discipline so fascinating, but also the equipment used to shoot the courses. Field archery features the barebow category, which may appeal more to traditionalists of the sport, but is no less competitive. Sweden's Lina Björklund faced Fawn Girard of the USA for her 3rd World Championship crown in Cortina. Well, here we go. Fawn Girard up against Lina Björklund in the barebow women's gold medal match. Final preparations for the athletes. Björklund having a conversation with the coach, going through a final mental preparation. Girard ready to shoot already. No stabilizers or sights for the barebow discipline, the purest of the archery disciplines. Adjusting well there, Girard. Getting the height almost perfect. You can see the cross slope there. Plays tricks on the mind, that one. But level pegging for these two on the first target. First of 4. And a 10 out of a possible 18 for Girard. Opportunity for Björklund here to take an early lead. And it's a maximum 6 on the final arrow, leading by 3 after the first target. Uphill second target. Björklund again taking her time, but it's a good first arrow from the Swede. Both will go to a measure though. Oh, and that's high. And just a single point there for Fawn Girard, trailing coming into this second target, and Björklund is on fire. A 6 maximum there on her second arrow. Just drifting off to the left a little bit, but a 15 out of a maximum 18, subject to the measure, as Girard, she's on potential 7, again subject to the measure as they move on to the third target. Girard did get marked up on the last target, but she trails by 10 at the halfway stage. It's a big lead for the Swede. She could put this out of reach here. Well, this is the shortest target to aim at. It's a good start from Girard, but she needs to keep that going and hope that Bjorklund doesn't get some big scores here. Well, 12 out of an 18 here. Girard knows she needs another good arrow. She's only dropped 1 point on this third target. And that's some great shooting from the American. She's closed the gap by 5 going into the final target, but she needs to keep that momentum going. Both taking their time to find their footing here on the very tricky fourth target. 60 meters uphill. Just a single point for Girard on her first arrow. Bjorklund can capitalize here. But she's missed the target. Better arrow from Girard there. Now, can Bjorklund recover from that miss? She still has a lead. She's got an arrow in hand. But only a single point for the Swede. Big couple of arrows here. Can Girard take advantage here? That's a great final arrow. But Bjorklund only needs a 3 to win. But she missed her first arrow. The pressure's on here. A 2 will take us into a shootout. A 3 and Bjorklund will take the title. Where is that? That is a 2. And they're drawn at 43 apiece after the 4 regulation targets. A mini recovery from Bjorklund there after a miss in the first arrow, and we'll go to a shoot-off. Well, the Swede had a 10-point lead at the halfway stage. And here we are, a separate target, 40 meters for the shoot-off for gold here in the women's barebow discipline. Uphill, presenting its own challenges. Girard, well, that looks to be a 2, and it is. So a 3 to win for the Swede. And she's done it. An amazing match there for the gold medal. Big hug from the coach. Bjorklund led by 10 at the halfway stage. Girard fought her way back in, but Bjorklund wins it in the shoot-off. 5 points to 2, and she is the world champion. Well, Sweden is traditionally strong in barebow archery, but the popularity of the style has been growing worldwide of late, with vocal advocates spearheading a resurgence in the barebow community.
I don't know if I'm the typical barebow archer, but I'm a very common barebow archer. We're try to express our individualism. You know, we try to make an impression on people so we don't get lost in the scuttle of archery in general.
Everybody has their bow today? Okay, good.
The other 2 disciplines I would say is more of like a machine. You're getting behind the machine and you're making that machine work for you. This is kind of It's like having a third appendage, because you have to be in sync with your body and your bow. With the barebow archers, you don't know what you're gonna get. You might get 3 6s in a row, and then you might get a little case of target panic and blow one off the target. You don't know what you're gonna see next. It's a perfect class. It's not just a beginner's class, and it's nice for those that aren't perfectionists, because you will never achieve perfection. Barebow is definitely a style of polar opposite. You can be highly competitive, you can be just a beginner, and both of you guys still have the same amount of fun. You can get a very technical rig, or you can just throw something together, and if you get the right shooter behind either one, you can be pretty competitive. You can express yourself in many ways. You can express yourself with your attire, or just personalize your kit. But as a community, it's just a neat community where we get a whole bunch of just individuals together and just help each other out.
Last group with the hammer. You see the hammer in his hand? That's your guy. Go over there.
I've got to know a lot of these people really well. I want to continue that friendship and move on while trying to get to the next glass ceiling of capability with my barebow archery.
Italy's own Max Mandia and Japan's Anuki Wataru had upset the favourites in the recurve men's event to pair in an unexpected final on the Italian slopes. It was the visitor, though, who began the match with the advantage. So here we go, the start of the men's recurve gold medal match. Wataru getting off the mark pretty quickly, and it's a good start. Mandia resetting, taking his time. Wataru has already released 2 arrows. A 10 out of a possible 12 is a good start for the Japanese athlete, going for his first World Championship title. Mandia taking his time here. Pressure on already. He knows what the Japanese archer has scored. Four from Mandia, and Wataru got a 16 out of 18, handling the cross slope of that first target really well. The second arrow will go to a measure, the asterisk telling us that. Mandia needs a good score here. Finishing with a 5. So 16 plays 12 after the first target. And here on this tricky 4th target, Wataru, who's led from the start, aims at the target 60 meters away on that 30-degree gradient going uphill. The toughest of the 4 targets here for the gold medal match. And a 4 is a good score. Pressure on Mandia here. Oh, and he resets. He knows he needs a big score here. Wataru could put this out of reach on his second arrow. Oh, and that's in the 1. And Wataru, well, he just needs a couple of points here to put this out of reach. And another 4 has done it for Wataru. Mandia cannot close the gap now. 11 points the difference. Wataru releases his final arrow, knowing that he's got the gold, and the smile gives that away. A marvelous performance from the Japanese athlete, and your heart goes out to Mandia, who secures his final score with a 4, a good final arrow, but 58 plays 47, and Anuki Wataru is the world champion in the men's recurve. Anuki's gold medal for Japan was only the 2nd podium the country had ever won at this event. Other winners in Cortina include Paige Pierce-Gore taking compound women's gold for the USA, Germany's Olympic silver medalist Lisa Unruh claiming victory in the women's recurve event, and Erik Jonsson of Sweden winning his 5th World Championship title in the barebow men's competition. And that brought to an end an incredible week of field archery, amongst some of the most dramatic landscapes in sport at the World Archery Field Championships in Cortina d'Ampezzo. We'll see you next time when we're back on the target range for the Hyundai Archery World Cup final in Samsun, Turkey.